Hello, and you're listening to the Zone of Hot Truth, a weekly podcast where 4 aspiring DMs talk about our experiences, opinions, and hot takes in supposedly 15 minutes. I'm Kevin.
I'm Eric, and 6th edition's just going to be 4th edition done better.
I'm John, and I don't think that there is going to be a 6th edition. Oh, there's the spice.
5.5.
I'm Grant, and yeah, 5th edition's just going to be 5.5. That's all it's going to be.
5.75?
They aren't bringing powers back.
Oh, jeez.
5.56.
Oh my god. All right. So, our focus question for today is going to be a little bit different. So instead of debating a certain thing, we're actually just going to be talking about what our resolutions are for the new year. A little late, but we're getting it through. So, what are some of our New Year's resolutions? I have to think about this because I have not thought about it. There's a lot of things that are like hot that are off the top of my head, but I want to save that.
The spice is never bad.
Yeah. I have to mold the spice, iron it out. Yeah.
Unrefined spice is useless.
Is it?
Only the finest spice.
The spice.
So,
Eric, go.
One of my resolutions is I have really, really wanted to hone my BX rule set and actually run a game. More than one shot, more than a couple one-offs of an old school Essentials game. I think that system is just so elegant. It's so moldable if we're talking about molding spice. And having the opportunity to run a prolonged game, and I'm going to, because you want your resolutions to be measurable, I'm going to say 10 sessions. If I can get a 10 session game going, that would be just like mint for me.
You said work on. Are you like doing something different to the rules, or are you just taking them out of that big black box?
I think there's a lot of there's a lot of things that you can add to it, because the system is pretty light. It's not as light as other things like my love for Knave, but it's very easy to import other things into it, such as Knave's inventory system, such as the shield splinters rule that's been being bounced around from every edition, and that is now getting a lot of popularity in 5th. And just being able to incorporate all those things into something that's so light, that focuses on rulings, not rules.
Yeah.
It's just kind of really nice. It's something I'm looking forward to.
So is this going to be your the christening of, I don't know if that's the right word for this, but the jumping ship from 5e into the realm of the OSR?
Jumping ship implies that, like, the ships are next to each other, and there's the potential for me to look back and go, "Ooh, no, but what if I go back?"
Baby, I'm already rowing that boat.
This is me
5e's already sunk,
standing in the teleportation circle and saying goodbye, and then I'm gone.
Nice.
Never to be seen again. Counterspell.
Running 5th edition is so exhausting, and which I guess is a can of worms, but. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this to be my resolution, to kind of really, it's when a lot of what my games are culminating towards.
Yeah. And
just to finally say, okay, I'm not going to run a bastardized version of 5th edition. I'm just going to run what I really want to run.
Nice.
How about you, Graham? What's your resolution?
We know you have one. You. I think you have one in a hopper. I'm still formulating, which I'm not.
I do, and it's actually different because I came up with a second resolution. Mine's similar but different. I've been working on building and fleshing out a continent for my next game. But the last few weeks, in the last month or two, I've been more and more lazy about doing it. So what I want to commit to is actually working on that and getting it ready to go for my next game. So to keep things limited, so that way it's not just, I'm just going to make an entire continent. I can at least work on the starting factions and the starting state, when the campaign will begin. I think that's a nice, reasonable goal, because everything else after that, if you know the players in the world and their starting points, that's not too hard to prep, considering I already have the map, already know where these factions will operate, and everything after that can be easily done on the go, because everything after the factions and starting state is just, what's the first quest going to be? What's the blacksmith's name in the town? Those aren't things I need to worry myself with prepping. Just like I don't need 12 blacksmiths for all 12 towns and
the spiral, right? Yeah.
I just need the factions. Yeah, like it'll just be a nice foundation for the world that once I have, I'll finally start to be able to building the next campaign in earnest.
How will you know when you accomplish that?
So I think that's my resolution. Well, that's why I'm keeping it small.
It's key.
Setting up the factions, and then the initial world state for the continent. And that's how I'm keeping it small, because I'm just, let's say there's 5 factions. It shouldn't be that hard to brief history, what they're about, general style for how they run their kingdoms, and then again, this is where they are in year 0, wherever year 0 just being when session 1
players
is essentially. Yeah.
The thing to keep in mind about that is to make sure you don't just spiral out of control into forever, because you're not starting from you're starting from player year 0. There is history that goes back to question mark. If you want, you can do the beginning of time with the foundation of your orders. So you're saying it's finite and discrete. I can easily see how that can just spiral out of control into something way bigger than you want it.
That's a good point. I am going to have to be careful about history, because it's very easy for history to just get out of control for the reason you just said. Well, 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, how far back are you going? And that'll be something I have to think about.
Focus on your major events. You don't I'm gonna beat the I think this is from Sly Flourish, or it might be something else where it's you only need. I don't really need to know about everything that happens in the the history of the United States. But if you can name, all right, there was the Civil War, there is World War I, there is World War II, big epoch events, big major paradigm shifting stuff.
Yeah.
All right, John. Leading into that. Yeah, let's go into yours. This is me trying to go last as much as I can.
The 2 things that I have on my mind that I would like to do in 2021, I 2.5 things. The half thing is I want to get back to playing in person. God, boy, fuck, Jesus
Don't
Christ.
we all?
That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, please see previous episode. So the first big thing that I want to do is I want to finish my first campaign. It's it feels like a milestone as a DM that I it's so hard to get to. So few people actually end up doing it. Because something 90% of campaigns fizzle after level 3, and then to get it to go a distance.
Foreshadowing my resolution.
So fucking hard. I would have done it in 2020 if 2020 wasn't the year that it was, but that's okay. Looking to the past, we look to the future.
What?
The next thing is I don't want to look at that. That's
John Lamond 2021.
It's
look
not
into
an expression.
the past.
Go,
Look into
what
the
is it?
future.
Go
John
fuck.
Lamond.
It's kill the past.
What is that?
Kill the
Kill the
past.
past.
Let it die. Kill it if you have to. My second is I want to run something that's not D&D and not some half step into something. Into something fantasy-y. I very much do not want to run basic old school essentials. Yes. So I got Call of Cthulhu for Christmas, their starter edition, and I'm interested in poking at something like that. I don't expect it to be a long-form campaign or anything like that, but I very briefly in 2019 did a thing for
It's
Monster of the Week, and I really
2019.
enjoyed doing that.
I know.
It was 2019. Actually, it might have been late 2018. I need to check my records. I found that to be a lot of fun. It was like an interesting...
Was it the fact like you were engaging with a different system, or was it just the different setting? Such as it wasn't fantasy, it was modern, or
It's the different setting and just the difference in like the Monster of the Week was refreshing because it was a lot easier to run in the sense of I didn't really need to know like what specifically the ability getaway plan meant because it's in the fucking name, and I found that to be really refreshing. There wasn't a bunch of rules that I needed to know because it was like the bottom line was up front. It is a plan to get away from the monster. Okay, that's easy. I don't need to like read a bunch of rules to figure out what that means. And I found that to be really refreshing.
Cue someone grabbing an AK from the trunk of that car.
G36.
The G36. G36C. Oh,
James was very specific in the weapon. His triple X character.
This Triple X character as the sheriff of this small town. God, I should run that again. That was a lot of fun. But that's here we go. It's I think like doing different stuff like that can be a lot of fun, and I'm hoping it's not like a terribly large amount of work. No more work than prepping a session of D&D. So those are my 2.5 resolutions.
So to close out at the 12-minute mark, I think right now, according to the podcast, yeah. So I don't think in my resolutions, or well, maybe the second is probably a surprise, maybe the first. But along the things John has been saying, I've been running Curse of Strahd, right, for about 3 years now. It's been great, but also I want to get that finished in some sort of way. Running this when I've like seen the light of other systems, and I've tried to incorporate them into my game as much as I can to provide a band-aid on the gushing flow through that dam has helped a little bit. But I definitely want to finish that this year. And so I think what I'm going to be doing, and I have another campaign I want to finish as well. So I don't think this is a hot resolution. It might be the first time everybody's hearing it here, but I think if I don't finish one of those two campaigns by June, then they're going to end. I'm just going to set that as a deadline because I think
deadlines are important.
Yeah, because otherwise this has kept me going for a while, and I've been, and this is probably going to go into like the next podcast if these are somehow back to back in the hopper. But the notion that like there's all this stuff out here, and I've just felt my motivation for that just like slowly just waning. I've been able to keep it afloat for different reasons, but it's been hard. So I think that's the biggest one, and then I can still start to feel that with my other campaigns. So if I can get that out too, that'd be great. And move on to much shorter material in terms of things I want to do. I think that's the big thing for me. And then I think the second thing is I have a particular style that I tend to DM in, and it's very grimdark. There's humor, but the humor comes about from more like gallows humor, or it's just like slight joking around. I would like to run a campaign with a different kind of tone, like something more.
Ooh.
Not short campaign, but something like more. Because this has been on my mind, like Studio Ghibli versus Lord of the Rings, or
I don't know what that is.
You don't know
Studio Ghibli?
It's
Like
weird shit, don't worry
Miyazaki
about
stuff, like the art from Princess Mononoke,
Oh, okay.
like My Neighbor Totoro. You've never seen
Oh,
Princess
okay.
Mononoke? Oh my god. Spirited Away.
I'm sorry.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are we allowed to swear on this
I-
podcast? Holy
Have you
shit,
not seen
Eric.
those?
I don't know what it I think I know it.
What the
Totoro?
Okay, well, no, this is... we're gonna
Totoro.
spin
Oh my
off
That's
this
the
God,
big
podcast.
monster looking thing that's like a square.
Anyway, it has a very distinct style that has...
Holy
So if
fuck.
I were to describe it, like whimsy is kind of like the thing. There's a lot of whimsy in it. There's a lot of fantastical things that are weird, but also aren't... You can't automatically assume they're going to kill you. Like that's that kind of stuff. Anyway, so...
Which is definitely very different than Barovia.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything is trying to come in Barovia.
Mostly.
So you said you're looking to incorporate more whimsy. Is that also going to be the rule set change in addition to 5, like going from 5e to something that's kind of would incorporate that whimsy? Or
I mean, I think like I have to get out of 5e. It's probably what it has to come down to. Yeah, dude, I was running.
Step into the circle.
I've stepped into the circle in 2018, I think.
I know.
Yeah, and then I've been stuck.
You were my shepherd.
Yeah, I've been stuck here, in my land of the sunk cause fallacy. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. There's more I could talk about that, but I think we're coming up on the end here. So why don't we just go ahead and just go around the horn and just kind of mention like the short resolutions we have and tweet, 140 characters or less, which some of us can't do.
My resolution is to run at a minimum of 10 sessions of Old School Essentials campaign that is completely hex crawl based, open world, without any big bad evil guy, and just the players existing.
My resolution is to
get those fingers out.
Finish my Salt
Is this
Marsh
sending? What's
campaign.
Yeah, it's characters, not words or syllables.
You got 7 words left.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're done?
Idiot. Whatever, it's fine.
That's it. You're done. Sending over.
Hashtag.
And run something non-D&D.
My resolution is to establish the foundation of my next campaign. Get the faction set up in the starting world state, something small, and then a little cherry on top resolution. Just take better notes during the games I run. That's another thing. As the DM, I take good notes out of the game, but during the game, better notes.
My goal, my resolution, is just to find peace and enjoyment in running RPGs again. So this is, I think, where we're going to go ahead and end things. So if you want to reach out to us in any sort of way, you can find us, I think, primarily on our Twitter, zoneofhottruth. You can find that pretty easily. There are a number of other means. You can go to Anchor and pull those up and find one to your liking. We'd love to hear from you. And the last thing I think I'll leave you all with is thank you for listening and keep rolling those dice.